The 2024 Infiniti QX60. This might be the closest thing to the previous generation Lexus RX 350 because, as we all know, the latest Lexus RX utilizes turbo 4-cylinders, 4-cylinder hybrids, etc. They have completely ditched the naturally aspirated V6, but you can get an old school V6 with this Infiniti QX60. So let's talk about what's new. All right, this vehicle got fully redesigned in 2022 along with the Nissan Pathfinder, which this Infiniti is a rebadged luxury version of that Pathfinder. And for 2024, pretty much no changes other than a price hike of approximately $450 for most trim levels. And I will talk more about the pricing and the trims a little bit later, but let's move on to that engine. That 3.5 liter V6 producing 295 horsepower and 270 pounds-feet of torque made it to that 9-speed ZF automatic. This is the same engine found in the Pathfinder. However, it's been tuned slightly to make a little bit more horsepower and torque than the Pathfinder, other than the Rock Creek version of the Pathfinder. That trim level also gets the same power output as this QX60. Anyway, front-wheel drive is standard. However, all-wheel drive will add about $2,000 to the price of the QX60. Vehicle does come with a lot of great standard safety tech like blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, and a lot more. But let's get into pricing and trim levels now. The base model is the Pure, and it's going to start at a little over $50,000, and that includes Destination. Again, add $2,000 for the all-wheel drive. And this base Pure model will come with a pano sunroof, leather seats, heated front seats, a 12.3-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay but wired Android Auto. But you step up to the next level, which is the Luxe. That's a little under $57,000. And here you get the ventilated front seats, remote start, a 360 camera, and the Pro Pilot Assist with the NaviLink. The sensory trim level seems to be the best. At approximately $60,000, you get heated second row seats along with massaging front seats and 17-speaker Bose audio system. So if you really love your music, I think that sensory is phenomenal. The top trim level autograph is a little over $64,000, and that will get you a heads-up display and quilted perforated leather seats, which I don't think is necessary. I think the sensory is just fine. But comment below, let me know if you are a current owner of a Lexus RX 350, perhaps your lease is coming up on one of those, or you're just thinking about trading it in because it's getting a little old. Would you consider this new QX60 Infiniti product? I'd be very curious to get your thoughts. A lot of people are going to say no simply because it is a Infiniti. It's just something about the Nissan Infiniti brand. It's very peculiar. Everyone just despises these two brands. And I honestly think it's hilarious, but the biggest problem for this QX60 is the fact that the Pathfinder exists at a much lower price. A base Pathfinder starts at $35,000. So there's literally a $15,000 delta between that Pathfinder, which looks amazing by the way, and this QX60. It's not like the Infiniti brand is brimming with cachet like it once did. I think in this instance, a lot of people will save the cash and go with the Pathfinder because they did a really great job in redesigning that. And I personally love the product. It performs extremely well. I will say the ride quality is a little bit on the stiffer side, even with the 18-inch wheels. So as soon as you start getting the nicer trim levels with either the Pathfinder or this QX60, I would just be cognizant about that ride quality. It can be a tad bit stiff, but that allows it to handle extremely well. And honestly, the Pathfinder I tested was equally as refined and quiet as the old Lexus RX 350. So that's a lot of car for the money, especially if you want a V6. Now, the Acura MDX also exists, and it's certainly something to consider, especially in this luxury segment. However, a lot of people have been telling me Honda Acura is not the company that it once was. They are experiencing a ton of issues with Hondas and Acuras, the new ones. But I'm sorry, I should mention this as well. It's not just Honda and Acura, it's the entire industry. Quality has taken an absolute dump across the board. Infiniti, Nissan, Toyota, Lexus, Mercedes, BMW, it's all the same thing now. People need to understand, even an economy car nowadays comes with the exact same electronics, sensors, features, etc. that a Mercedes S-Class tends to come with. You know, minus some reclining seats, everything else is there. Cars are extremely complex now, and this is why I've always preached leasing and dumping, because that's all these cars are now. They're so disposable. You just go on nhtsa.gov and you type in 2022 Acura MDX, you type in Nissan Pathfinder, Lexus RX, I mean really any car, and you can go scroll down and you can find a lot of complaints, plenty of TSBs or manufacturer communications. Those are issues that the manufacturer themselves find with their own products. And you can just scroll through that and see just how many issues modern day vehicles have. So it's imperative that if you're not going to lease and dump, at least have a good warranty in place. If you're going to keep the car for 5 to 10 years plus, make sure that you are extending the manufacturer warranty. It would be in your best interest, because as that vehicle ages and gets more mileage on it, it's just deteriorating that much more. People get really caught up with the engine and the transmission, but the reality is there's a lot more to a car than just that. There's software issues, electronics, actuators, suspension, etc. There is a ton of expensive components on a car aside from an engine and a transmission. The other aspect of this Infiniti QX60 that I think is really hurting it is terrible lease deals. These things go for around $800 a month, assuming you have perfect credit and you do a no money down lease for 36 months. You have to put up at least $7,000 worth of MSDs or multiple security deposits, which is a refundable deposit that you get back at the end of the lease, to drop the interest rate, and that will get your payments down to $700 a month, which is still pretty pricey. The Acura MDX on average is about $100 cheaper, so I think a lot of people would rather just go with that. And the Nissan Pathfinders, an SL trim level, will probably go for around $500 a month. These QX60s honestly should be going for around $500 a month. And if you are adamant about getting this SUV, definitely get it with a 9 or a 10% off discount off of MSRP. That's the only way I would buy this Infiniti QX60. Same with the Pathfinder, definitely try and get at least 9% off. It doesn't help that the interior space is extremely similar to the Pathfinder. See, a lot of people with the Lexus RX, they would mistakenly say things like, oh, this is just a rebadged Highlander or a RAV4, and that was completely wrong. Yes, it rode on the K platform of Toyota front-wheel drive products. The RX had a totally different driving characteristic. It had almost a special quality to it. Interior was totally different, whereas this QX60, it really is just robbing the interior space from the Pathfinder. They just slathered some more leather in certain areas, but that's about it. It's not a bad place to spend time. It's got a good infotainment, nice tech, but I don't know, it's just lacking that special sauce. Again, I would really like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about this QX60 and the Infiniti brand as a whole. Would you consider it? The warranty seems good. They're also offering 3 years of free maintenance. That helps out a little bit, but I still think a lot of people despise Infiniti and their products. But prove me wrong. If you're an owner, let us know how it's been treating you, how it's been holding up, if you like it. But thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye.